All right. That's what we're working on today. That's kind of what we were working on Friday. Some changes I've made in the interim. I decided to just kill the key change. It's a bit long to be 6 minutes. And have all this other. I mean, to be just in G minor, I guess. But I just don't think it works. It's too late. If I was gonna do that, I should have done it earlier. And ultimately, when I was doing that, I wanted to have a reprise of sort of the opening there, and it just really wasn't working range wise, even to move it a whole step. We were starting to get out of the range of the samples in terms of like, out this note here. In the altos, where is it? Um, like this note in the altos here is well, I don't see it here, but there's one somewhere that is just right at the top of their range. And if I move it even a whole step, it just pops out of the range of the sample library. I don't know if it's what I would call outside of alto range as a whole, but like I would definitely be okay writing altos there if I was just a concert work. But um, since I'm probably going to end up using this from its sampled version as kind of a sketch, I don't know, like a sketch album kind of idea, it just really wasn't going to work. I was going to have to mess with it or do like a pitch. It's just like, I don't want to mess with this. So I got rid of the key change. I also decided, so all this choral stuff is a perfectly serviceable piece of music all on its own. It has a nice beginning, a nice ending, everything works. But what I would like to do is actually add in more stuff. I would like this not to just be choral a cappella samples. And my thought being that if that doesn't work, we end up with a nice piece anyway. We end up with this nice choral a cappella work. So what I've been started to do here is kind of add in some strings, and I've added some. This is listed as organ. Really, it's an organ warp, so it's more of a synth. To sort of kind of expand the piece out, add some new textures in, maybe even stick some new sections in. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Is kind of adding stuff to it. What I've added right now is a little introduction with a synth organ. And then it kind of overlaps into the start of the choral stuff. So the very first thing I like to do is make this introduction from the choir part just a little bit more clear. Yeah. So I actually think maybe right here we might be able to do some brass on this B flat chord. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's build it up from the bottom. I didn't touch your sign. Okay, good. No crashes today. That's really loud right now. It's going to be loud when I record it, but we'll fix it in a second. So obviously incredibly dominant in the mix. I actually probably won't do this low G here. We're probably just going to fade out over the course of 27, 28. Because I would like there to be like little islands of choral of just choral a cappella, just not quite all the time. We're gonna build the chords on top of these, basically. What the choir is doing, we're basically doubling the choir. And actually, we probably don't. In fact, we actually probably want that to kind of go down. It's still incredibly loud. So let me just turn that down. I'll just use expression control. It's easier. Cool. So let's build chords on top of that. Gonna be a little lazy today. Instead of writing out all my horn parts, I'm just gonna write some chords in. That's fine. Yeah, I thought the intro was working AP Moss. I thought things were. It was sort of a nice way to bring in the ideas slowly without them being cool. Let's put it on its sustains patch. Oh, that's right. Horns use the upper ones and sign. Okay. Let me just record that key switch so I don't forget that it's there. Make sure that's okay. Cool. So now we should be getting a nice. Cool. And let's just copy this so that we can benefit from the dynamic shipping I've already done. We probably won't leave it exactly the same, but. Helps if we play the right chords. Yeah, these are just those chords in the horns. I think that tuba is still too loud, but we'll fix that later. Is it common to write for one part and build a piece around that? Sometimes. I mean, that's not always. Usually I work just kind of building everything out by time rather than sort of vertically like what's happening right here. But I do this sometimes. Sometimes it's nice to do it this way because if you work out one part that sort of goes from the beginning to the end, you're not you've figured out your structure already, and so then as you're doing things like asking questions about texture and trying to figure out what sound layers you want or what even to some extent the overall flavor and character of certain sections, you at least know like this is a section, this is a section, this is a section, and it has a coherent beginning, middle, and end already. So I sometimes like to do that just to give myself to sort of relieve the pressure of working on structure. I like to. It's probable that when I do like streams and stuff, I'll probably work like that a little more often than I normally would, just because structure is like the thing that is really boring to watch, in my opinion, because I sit there and I'll re-record the same four measures 20 times, 30 times, just trying to figure out what the perfect next section is. Um, So having that sort of already figured out makes that experience, which can be a little excruciating to actually watch, like less present on stream and stuff. I'm gonna try something out. I don't think this is going to work, but we're gonna try it anyway. I think it might be nice to double that on a solo string instrument, although it's really, really hard to make solo string instruments sound good in samples. In real life, it's easy. You just write the notes and you get nice, beautiful music out of it. As samples, I find solo string instruments so hard. Just gonna rename this solo. Sorry, I mind myself. I just try to keep my current project as hygienic as possible as far as labels are concerned, so that I don't get confused. It's really easy to make changes to things that I didn't want to when tracks aren't named the right thing. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would say that that's common. I find it a useful way to work, especially like I said, streaming. So we're gonna try out this Audio Bro Modern Scoring Strings. I haven't really looked into the solo instruments. We've looked into the overall sound of the library, but I haven't really had a lot of chance to look at the individual instruments. And I just loaded the default solo channel. We'll see what it sounds like. I mean, it does. It sounds really good for a sample library. It doesn't work for this because it's. Oh, that's a nice solo cello. I feel like again the notes, even without a lot of reverb on them, they just run together too much. I'll make sure to email them that. They've been really great about getting in contact with me about what I think about the library. Let me just make sure there's none of their convo reverb on this. There is. No EQ, please. Actually, sounds better with their EQ. Why is it so? Wow, wow. See, that should sound better. See, it's really, it really like, it's got that sucking feeling between notes sometimes. I could remember the cello suites. It's a nice sound though. It sounded okay on that part. I just don't think it works here. You know, what might work here is that bringing back that synth organ. Let me make these strings less aggressive sounding and in your face, and right here suddenly like, hello, the strings are here. While we're at it, let's do some hygiene there. Make sure everybody's named the right thing. Let's just bring them down to maybe, yeah, 60s. You probably can be down to like 40s, yeah. So I also added this in here. The Lee Berries from EDO, which is a lovely library. It's really nice to layer. It's sometimes not super... Did I completely take reverb off that? It's also very hard to control dynamics, especially when it's... Ooh, that's nice though. It's so pretty, it's worth working around. Oh, that's why that was too loud. I do this all the time where I click on Cinestrings violas instead of CSS. I actually want this to be CSS violas. They're going to be too quiet now, I think. I want to say CSS uses what for vibrato? What does it use for vibrato? CC1. I think I manually configured that. I think it normally uses a different one. That's probably why it's set to vibrato-y. One more time. How's your CZ control set up to always capture channel 1 modulation and expression? I happen to use CSS as well, and it sometimes switches to channel 14, much to my frustration when it comes to editing. I don't know. What I've done is I just use the little configurator here where I go in. You can go set it to something else. And I just leave it on CC1 if I remember to configure it. I prefer things to be really close to Hollywood strings, which is what I used to use almost exclusively. So I like my vibrato to be on modulation. But yeah, that's what I use. I just use a little gear. It never really seems to get out of whack, although it just depends on if I've remembered to do it. Like, for example, I think on my basses, it's probably still on. Nope, it's on CC1 there too. Yeah, see, it's on 2 here. So, actually change that. Sometimes in my template, I forget to do that. Thanks, Drummer Boy. Glad you like it. Man, that Leaf Berries is still just like popping way over everybody else. Just incredibly loud. Let's try doing it with CC1. That sounds better. Oh, I love that library. I think we need something supporting this. It feels a little like the bottom drops out when we lose all those beautiful strings. I wonder if we could just maybe... Actually, we're going to keep it going on that bass part too, but let me fix some problems with that and make the dynamics make sense in a reasonable world. So it's probably because here we got a little aggressive pulling them out, which I always do. Probably can afford to do one of these. So this I don't like about... I don't know when it started doing this, but these little sliders down here that they sometimes pop in. Oops. And make it impossible for you to... All right. So we're going to want to push real hard through this note. I think it can come down, Drummer Boy, but I don't know if I want it to be quite that dramatic. I think having just the cellos in here will help. We'll see. And then obviously we'll need something there. And let's record that now. So we're gonna keep the cellos going on this bass line. Why? Why are you... Actually, this will sound nice on octaves with the basses. Cool. Let's fix that part. So one of the things I'm wary of too is that I like to use the bottom dropping out as a transition too often. And I've already relied on it too much in this piece. There's a couple of places where I'm relying on that one note just hanging over to kind of be our transition. I need to kind of... That really needs to be less. And it should crescendo into that. And we need to work on... So many things to work on. We need to work on the vibrato too. It shouldn't just hold steady like... Well, you know, it's fine. It's CSCS. It's on or off anyway. But it can go away through this note. How do you keep track of these rows? There are so many. They're all... I mean, they're all organized. They're in standard orchestral order, just with lots of different libraries, and I try to keep the libraries in a consistent order throughout. So here's what we're doing. Yeah. Oh, that's right. We're gonna do this in octaves, because that's gonna sound super good with the basses. We're using CSS today. It's not my go-to library. It's a lovely library. If you like it and you own it and it works for you, awesome. I find it too dark for a lot of stuff I do, but man, it sounded good with the choir here. Why? That shouldn't be too low. Why? That's not too low. Did I like mute it somehow? What have I done? We're not getting any CSS bases anywhere. What is happening? Did I mute them over here? Oh, you know what? I forget. I forget. You can't write them like this. Is this why? Hang notes. Why am I not hearing those? Yes. Oh, I changed their articulation. I forgot that CSS puts the basses. They just sound an octave lower. I can't decide if I like this. I can't decide if I like that approach or not. So when you write a bass part in like orchestral scores, if you're not aware, you write it an octave higher than it actually sounds so that you don't end up with all these like ledger lines because, you know, they go way low. 9 libraries out of 10, the sounding pitch, you program the pitch that sounds. And then in your brain, you just know when you go to, if you were going to give it to real basis, you would need to move those notes up an octave. CSS does that for you. It's all pitched down an octave. And it's the only one I know of that does that. It's really annoying, actually. But I kind of like it, because it's kind of like the... Oh, yeah. So one of the problems with this approach, so we talked a little bit about this approach earlier about, like, do you typically write out a big, like, one part and then build everything else around that? One of the downsides to that is what we're seeing here, where, so all of these, like, choral parts, when they, like, reach the end of a phrase, my natural inclination is to kind of smash them together and transition to the next phrase through the end of the preceding one. So we had the end of that little line here. We had the end of this line here. And then we sort of put the next phrase on top of that. It makes it really hard when you're trying to add other stuff when you do that, because there's no clean break. And you can hear that here. Hear how it's weird, the way that the strings are doubling our low men, right? And to have them go away here is a little strange, because really their phrase isn't over until they go up to this. I don't know. We'll have to work around that. So anyway, there's a little commentary on that. I'm sure everybody's super excited about that. I love this low string part. John Cage Strings is the new premium library. I shouldn't do this. I feel like the only people who could ever really pull that off is Spitfire at the edge of silence. Super ultra flautando. So somebody's got to double this soprano. What about trumpet? Let's try it. I'm not sure it's going to work, but I'd like to hear it. Let's use JXL again, since I'm currently in my JXL phase. It's a great library. Actually, maybe Berlin would be better. Yeah, Berlin's gonna be better. Man, they really sampled the high dynamic on that. Really, like a lot. Like a lot. I feel like when they... I feel like with JXL, they were like, do we have enough dynamic layers? Maybe. I think we could have 2 more on top. What if we had quadruple F and quintuple F? What about that? I mean, it's cool. It's the only library I know of that goes like that, but man, is it strident. That's more like... Yes! Let's try it. Let's put it in and leave it there for a while. Until I decide I don't like it. What happens if I just... Let's be ultra efficient. And just copy this and see what happens. And we want to stop after that. I would prefer that you not use any expression as... And also... This is too much. And also, we really want to push into this note instead. Just a couple little curve changes. This is a curve I almost never draw. Cool. That works. I think that we want something else with that, though. The problem is there's not a lot of interesting stuff happening in the other parts. It's just whole notes. This sounds a lot to me like Alan Hovhaness. It just really is giving me what's it called? Prayer of St. Gregory vibes. So last time we talked about Abendlied by Reinberger. Abendlied. Today's recommendation in classical music to listen to, go to YouTube, Hovhaness, Alan Hovhaness, Prayer of St. Gregory. It's like a sort of pseudo concerto for trumpet and strings. It's absolutely stunning. So we have the second line here. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put it on second trumpet. So we have a little dialogue like the sopranos do. And we're going to ask ourselves the very important question. And that is, how long can I get away with this? Can I have it be this entire part? Probably not. Everatic Composer. Hello. Hi. This sounds beautiful. Thank you. Trying to make it good. Okay, so obviously cannot have that continue there. That's fine. But we're starting to get a little more connective tissue between the two phrases. Color and name by tracks. Okay, let's take a listen to where we are here. I want to hear this with all of it. Because the other thing I don't want to do is have like the trumpets just show up here. I love this patch, by the way. I'll just give away the secret here. On the Spitfire organ, it comes with some warps. This one called Z-Ray Eye. It's the last patch in the warps. It's pretty great. The warps are really cool in Spitfire organ. I feel like we need some strings to fill this out with the brass, but I'm scared to add them. As a singer, I sing professionally in choirs. Well, at least I did before choirs were not a thing. One of the things I hate is when it's over-orchestrated around choir. So I'm very careful. Yeah, Spitfire, 249 now. Choir is Eric Whitaker choir. You know, on the second thought, I kind of like the way the texture is changing every new sort of statement. We might need to put supporting brass under that. I think this has to be just choir right here. You lose too much detail, I think, if we add too much here. The other thing is, I don't love 59 into 60 at the moment. I think it works, but, like, it barely works. Okay, I'll try some things here. I think there's more to do in the middle between the trumpets and at the trumpets, but we'll come back to that. Because I am bored with it. I think it's time for a new texture, since we're now doing this, like, move from texture to texture kind of deliberately thing. Let's check out Sun Winds. It might be cool to give the trumpet that choir line just on their own and bring the choir back in later. To give the trumpet that choral line. Yeah, maybe. That's actually a good idea, drummer boy. I'll mess with that. So this is probably too low for regular flute. I should have done alto flute. Well, let's try alto flute, I think, to start. Also, alto flute. Flugelhorn. I don't know if I have a good flugelhorn sample. I guess, doesn't Cinnabrass have a flugelhorn? That's a good idea, though. I like the idea of the more mellowy texture. I know that this is like incredibly loud. That's just Cinnawinds. Give it a second. I don't usually balance the template. I do that on a per thing basis, which is why all my Cinna stuff is like insanely loud. Yeah, okay. So there, wow, that's negative 0.5. All right, let's lower it to -5. Okay, and obviously all the controllers are pegged too, so we'll fix that. 8DO has one for 28 sometimes. Oh, nice. Thanks. That's a good tip. I'll have to check it out. I love 8DO stuff. I actually think I own more 8DO stuff than anything else. This is still like super, super loud, and it sounds really close to me. Let's try their room mix and adjust from there. It's actually 28 right now. I'll go look after the stream. I may just straight up have to make the choir a little louder, which I didn't want to do. I wanted this to be really delicate and quiet, but it's hard to mix against right now. Yeah, let's just go do that. All right, guys and ladies. Let's be just a tad louder. Let's say maybe 10-ish higher. Where was that thing? Oh, hold on. I'm just going to look something up. I have not been paying attention to updates from Logic recently. Oh, you know what? That was probably not this version. And we'll get probably to click the letter on the check. No, that's just that. Whatever. There's a way to show multiple lanes in Logic. They added it at some point and I missed it. But whatever. That's getting closer to a good balance. I think Cinnamon sounds good in almost anything you put it in. Now the question is, what to put with this? Is it a bass flute? Let me turn this down right away, because otherwise we all know it's going to be like super loud. We did -6 for the other one. And let's just do this. Let's copy the data from Alto Flute. I put it on the wrong bass flute. It's one of my big problems with the load on demand lifestyle, is if you click the wrong track, it can load the wrong sample and you're stuck waiting for it. All right, let's just double the alto part here. I kind of like the bass flute personally. I might. That's not a bad idea, right? A composer. That's a quality suggestion. I kind of like the way the hooty flutes sound here. They're not chirpy at all. Love the voice leading there. I really need to fix this, but it's wrong in the choir too. You know, I have played Skyrim. I confess that I had to play it like way late because I didn't play it when it came out for some reason. So I have heard the music in Skyrim. I often get your music sounds like Skyrim, but I could not like sing it to you. I'm not super familiar with it. Um, when we were recording Reverie, I think somebody told me, it was like, this sounds a little Skyrim-y. So what can I fix here? Let me fix some things. There's got to be a simple and elegant way to fix this stupid problem. Really, with this note, needs to be split in half. Maybe be a... This I want. I want this little moment of tension, but because it's cool. It's this. D needs to become a C for the last 2 beats of 66. No. Yes. Yeah, that sounds... It's up there with Starbound. Oh, that's very kind of you to say. I like choir alone here. I wonder, so this lovely little organy patch, is it nimble enough to go? It is. Well, no, not really. Let's try it. Oh, I need to do an octave. Not looking good. I know it's not. It's got too much ringing, that like ringing that it has, which I could edit out, but I actually like it in other places, so I don't want to. Let's do it here. Let's go. Yeah, and then we'll quiet it down. Quiet it down. I actually, and even here, it's kind of nice to have it ring a little. Yeah, let's make it the same length. I think we might want to do choir all the way out. Let the choir play us out. Sing us out. And I definitely don't want anything but altos here. Molto rete. Molto. Very good. Yeah, we're going good places. Obviously, we still need to thicken up texture. We still need some places where things are are a little janky. The organ addition totally changes the vibe of the song for me. It sounds more holy and less earthy. Interesting. I always thought it sounded very churchy just because of the choir. Strings on that G. Some flautando. Some super flautando. Actually, no. We're just gonna have V flautando. I like BBC's flautando. Or sul tasto. One of the two. Probably flautando. Let us all patiently wait while the violins load. The violins have loaded. Thank you, violins. And they will not just like stop. They will make them nice. Just do some quick lines. Oh no, 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 too loud, too loud, too loud, too loud, too loud. Wow, even with that, it doesn't... These must not have a niente. Super ultra flauntando. We have 30 players blow air on their instruments from 8 feet away. Yeah, you know, I make fun of Spitfire for their love of the quiet strings, but occasionally you get great stuff out of it. I mean, just such great stuff. I mean, this sound right here, I'm just gonna go on a little tangent. I promise it will be short. But this sound is unmatched in my opinion. Where is it? The Super Snow, the Colegno Trotto. No close. Yes, bottle. Do they have a riser? They don't have a riser. Okay. Well, this is in violins. Oh. Oh. Come on. You can see that I have the volume in the instance like at 332%. You can still barely hear it. I mean, what is this? What is this? This is the most beautiful sound. Oh yeah, take a jab at the pretense. Yeah, they get a little high on their own supply sometimes. I agree. Oh, yes, Tundra is amazing. I don't want this spot mic. Lots of gallery though. And if you don't want the squeakies, you can just go out to super flautando. There it is, super flautando. Ah, it's so loud. Hans Zimmer strings in those libraries, if I'm not careful, I just lose like 3 hours of my life because I'm just messing around with the gorgeous sounds in it. Okay, where was I? We were adding a flautando note, which naturally is taking like 30 minutes. Single note. There was somewhere where I thought we could use some Mark Tree. I'm a serial Mark Tree overwriter. Too much Mark Tree in my work. I don't care. Where's the Mark Tree?
There it is.
Oops. Finally. Not there, not there. I think it was here at 42. Yes. 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 And we're gonna have this kind of go away. Probably out by there. Probably out by the trompes. Trompes. I kind of don't want to get rid of the choir at the trumpets, not because it's not a good idea. It actually is a really good suggestion, but because one of the things at the beginning I was talking about is that if adding all these other instruments on top of the choir ends up like sounding like I end up not liking it as much, I always just have a good choir piece. So I'm gonna leave the choir in. I guess I can mute it there, but man, that Liberius is still so loud. You can see me in vain trying to make it not pop out so much. Better. That's much more tucked in. Too much second trumpet. Don't close the piece of music I'm working on, please. Thanks. Okay, let's think about what we can do. This is something I want to fix right now. So, yeah, I actually think that is preferable to what we do here, which is go to this like F minor 70 sort of weird thing here, and then we go to the C, and that's fine. It's just, I guess that's not an F, that's a D. So it's like a C with like a whatever. Anyway, let's see what we can do here. Let's just try moving this to same thing with this. Let's just see what it sounds like. Hey, Suitcase, how's it going? Yeah, I like that better. The change is less pronounced, but it's smoother and less weird, and it doesn't like have that moment of before when this was on E flat. When you changed to the E here, it just didn't have enough time to sink in, I think. So that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. So instead of doing it that way, let's do it this way. Let's get rid of that E and just. Why did that sound so incredibly weird? Okay, it's okay. But let's do this. I actually think we want to let go of this and then re-articulate on the D. Okay, let's do this. 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 Let's do this Yeah, that makes the phrasing sound better to me. Okay. Um... Too much bass flute. This may seem obvious, but one of the things I love about Eric Whitacre Choir is how you just sound like this piece is kind of by maybe Eric Whitacre could have written it. I mean, other than the fact that the writing is not nearly as good. I think we want to close out the choir. I think we're like mostly there. Maybe a flatando string on that G. The other thing is that G should be an hold on. This is better than all the Spitfire demos? I actually haven't listened to their Eric Whitacre demos. I'm not gonna lie, this is perhaps a bit of a confession, but they slap out Eric Whitacre's name on it. Sign me up. Yeah, but if we do that, it has to be even one more. Can't do it as one of those. Yeah, I haven't listened to any Spitfire Eric Whitacre demos. I just I saw it was Eric Whitacre. I mean, think about it. So Spitfire, who I generally like, I think they do a really good job sampling. They're one of my favorite developers. I own a ton of their stuff. So Spitfire, Air, because Spitfire, Eric Whitacre, Eric Whitacre Singers. I'm also throwing this through non-Spitfire reverb, by the way, so that could also be influencing your... I've been meaning to try out... Actually, you know what? Let's try it. I just want to try it. Because I've been meaning to try it. I haven't had this for long. But... yeah, super wet. Gain up a little. Hull. I guess we'll just leave it on those. What does that sound like? I'm just wondering. This is a Bricasti, right? Like, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be an emulation of Bricastis. I kind of like it better. Yeah, I actually like the 7th Heaven better. Cool, we'll keep that for a while. I'm just gonna leave it on the default if it works. I think I might up the gain just a tiny bit. It's very clean. I keep meaning to go through my template and having an alternate that's a 7th Heaven, because it's so good. But I just haven't had time. Wow. Once I got cinematic rooms, I haven't been able to use other reverbs. Liquid Sonics is amazing. I've been messing with running my reverb through one of my guitar pedals. Not the cleanest, but a cool effect. That is really cool, actually. I haven't used cinematic rooms. I was asked to grab 7th Heaven for a project, and I was like, well, you know. Or they said, do you have it? And I was like, well, I can. This sounds like a great business expense. It's not quite as long. It doesn't quite hold as long. Like these don't sound as good. But I think I might be willing to put up with it. I mean, I could probably screw with it and actually make them longer. But so the only thing so this what is this 4 seconds? What is this? 2.2 seconds? Let's try it. Don't try cinematic rooms if you care about your wallet. Liquid Sonics cinematic rooms. This was not exactly cheap either. Oh, it's a surround and Atmos plugin? Ooh. I don't have a surround or Atmos setup here. God, their interfaces are so clean. Look, it fixed it. Okay, we're using that. I was gonna like do an A/B on them and see what sounded better, but with the decay time set to the same. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's listen to the whole thing because I think we have some changes to make, but this is sounding real good to me. This is what the organ and piano are going through. Now I'm tempted to replace them all. I've missed out on some streams, but been rewatching an upload. I had a question. What's the shape on the wall behind you? It looks interesting. That's actually made by my dad. He's gotten into carpentry in his retirement. It's a waveform. It's actually a waveform from something. It's from the Discover Hope trailer. He made it for me for my birthday one year. Yeah, I thought it was really cool, and it actually works really well. They used to have acoustic treatment back there, but this actually sounds better. I can find. He does like he sometimes. Sometimes he puts them up on the internet. I don't see it. Does he not have his? I was looking to see if he has the website. He doesn't have it. Interesting. Huh. He used to have a website where he posted all this stuff. Yeah, that would be interesting, actually. Obviously, yeah, it's so in the Discover Hope trailer, the part where Master Chief walks forward and like moves the door, and there's like that choral rising thing to the end of the trailer. That's what that is. That's what he took it from. Obviously, it's now like a, you know, the bit rate is now, or the sample rate is now considerably lower. So I don't know what it would sound like. It'd be interesting. I'll have to try that. Yeah, I like the strings too, AP Moss. I like them. I like the way they come in on that B flat. This Lee Barry's really works here, I feel like, too. I like these strings. They're so meaty. Good job, CSS. This is maybe just a little aggressive. Maybe here we could do like Hold on, let me just name regions by track so I don't get confused again. All right. I don't know where my dad's website went. He used to have a website, and every time he made something, he would post it. I think that's going to be a little aggressive. And I think the actual dynamic we're going to want... It's like a stair step into this, and probably not all the way. Let's see what that sounds like. Oh, you know what? Shoot. I changed all the controllers in CSS, so that's actually not the one it should be. Probably off and on, something like that for vibrato. Let's see. Oh. Dear. Oh, I just key switched it. Hold on, I just key switched it. I just key switched it. I didn't key switch it? Oh, cool. Cool. Alright, let's do this on the cello as well. But different notes. Oh. Don't forget to unmute the track you're recording. So I think strings here continuing, just low ones, just little supports. But it's something I was thinking maybe we could be like below triple F, maybe. Like what about like CSS. Here. Pardon me. Bah! Contact has a stuck note, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. Interesting. Okay. Well, fine then. Here I thought this was going to be a great time where I get to complain about contact, but no. There we go. Yeah, that makes that a lot less weird. I'm sorry, I've used the word weird, but it just sounds less. It sounds more intentional and a little more glued together. So the only change I want to make here, and this has been bugging me for the entire time we've been working on this, is that this needs to come in at a much more. There's a little, like, volume bump right there at the end of the choir parts, and actually sounds really bizarre to not have them follow a little bit. I don't think we want them to, like, go into super aggressive mode, but... That feels like it hangs over. We'll work on it later. Because we haven't done enough where we just introduce an instrument we haven't heard the entire time. All of a sudden, minutes into the piece, let's try putting a Celeste here. I love it. Also, we play the right notes. We don't need this one. Obviously, this is too loud. Why are we having notes holding over? Less. Yeah, I like the flutes too. I like the way it just kind of moves through tone colors in time. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. I mean, we got some work to do on it, but I like that organ line. I think this is all fine. I really like this patch because, I mean, if you just hold a note, such interesting things happen over time without you having to go in and mess with it. Sometimes that's not great because you want it to you want to have more control, but sometimes it's just nice just to have something like this where it's just kind of evolving a little bit. So one of the things on Halo that was really hard for me was music director was music supervisor was really good about constantly not letting me hold a note for 900 years and not do something interesting with it, which is a really bad habit of mine that I had developed. And he was very good about getting in there and being like, "Hey, this needs to do something smart here. It's just holding a note and nothing's out." It's like and yeah, perfect. I think this piece is like finished. I'm pretty happy with the. So we can add this one to the list here. I need to go in and export the stems and probably send them off to somebody competent at mastering, but yeah. Here, I'll turn off my mic so we can all hear it from beginning to end. I like where that is. Yeah, I think if we I think I just need to sit back from it for a little bit, not listen to it for, one of the things about composing for me is that, you hear it over and over and over and over and over and over again. It starts to kind of work its way in to your brain is like, this is the only way it will ever be. And so sometimes I just need to kind of walk away from something for a few hours or days or whatever, just to kind of give it a chance to kind of solidify on its own, so that when I come back, I can kind of hear what the possibilities are a little better. So what I'll probably do is come back to this off stream, just to make sure. But I think it's 99% of the way there, or 90% of the way there. I think there's a couple places I feel like there could be just a few little tweaks, but that's always true. Including and up to after I release things where I just listen to them and I'm like, but if I just. So we'll get that. But yeah, well, it's been fun. I'm really glad I decided to do this today. This was I wasn't sure this was going to work out, because I felt like the choral part as a piece of music, I felt like the choral part worked fine. So I wasn't sure if adding all this other stuff was going to work or not, but I really ended up thinking it made it a lot better. So cool. Well, excellent. Thanks everybody for stopping by. I should be streaming 2 to 3 times this week. I'm not sure about tomorrow. Kids back in school, so that's always good news. So probably tomorrow on Wednesday. I'm out, so there will be no stream on Wednesday. But Thursday and Friday could be. We'll just see when I can get on. And yeah, thanks for stopping by, everybody, and or watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, I always put them up on YouTube later. Yeah, we'll see you around.